APP, or authorized push payment scams, are an increasingly common and highly sophisticated form of fraud in which victims are persuaded to send money to criminals, trusting there was a genuine reason to do so. Through phishing, criminals will find the most vulnerable potential victims. Then, by using multi-layered forms of deception, unsuspecting targets are selected and tricked into accessing their banking accounts and authorized sending funds to illegitimate accounts, only to find out that the money and the fraudsters soon have disappeared or are beyond the reach of law enforcement bodies. The worst part, these scams are so sophisticated, even the savviest consumers are falling victim. Being scammed isn't always about responding to unsolicited emails, phone calls, or texts. We know to be on the lookout for them. But there are many other ways to become a victim. Let's talk to one such victim who was looking for a better return on her savings.
I was simply looking for better places to put my savings. I was getting tiny amounts, less than 1% in some cases, and I knew that there were investments out there that would pay out more, especially if I was willing to lock it away for a period of time, 12 months or more, which I was. I was not looking for high-risk investment in shares, I just wanted something more solid, more trustworthy. So I started my research online. I typed in best investment trend and then expanded to 2-year bonds. I even did a search for those comparison sites and then clicked on Money Supermarket and I did my searching for investment trends and bonds there. Searching both ways, the top answer showed me a great investment bond opportunity with actually my bank, a bank we all know. So I went to their website to review their offers.
What the victim didn't know was that organized criminal gangs had flooded the internet with fake domains that looked very alike to the real bank one, paying for advertising so that these fake domains would feature in search results, right at the top in many cases. Gone are the days where you can spot a scam a mile away because of the bad grammar, spelling errors, or the wrong logo on the website. These fake domains really do look like the real thing, whether that's a well-known comparison site or even a bank.
I reviewed the offers that my bank was offering and I chose the one that was going to give me a healthy return, 7.5% over 12 months. The only catch, not that it was really a catch, was that I had to lock it away for 12 months. And I was prepared for that and happy to do this for a healthy return. I clicked the link to apply to buy, and even if I had doubted the offer, which I didn't at the time, I would have been more sure that this was a genuine offer, as I was not immediately required to transfer any money at this stage. I filled in my contact information and waited for the next steps, which came in the form of a phone call from John Galway, a sales officer from my bank, who wanted to know more about what I needed and what I was looking for. He made it clear the 7.5% return would be guaranteed at the end of the 12-month period, as long as the original investment was untouched in that time. The investment was for fixed-rate bonds, which were in tranches of £2,500 each, with no limit on the number of bonds that I could purchase. Although he did advise me that the offer was for a limited period only, and that there was a limited number of fixed-rate bonds available.
As soon as she clicked the link to apply to buy, all her contact details were now in the fraudster's database, not her bank's as she thought. The salesperson who called her was in fact a fraudster, totally focused on providing assurance and instilling confidence that she was indeed talking to a staff member at her bank, and he was very good at it, planting the sense of urgency by casually stating that the offer was for a restricted period only, and there was a limited number of bonds available, saying once they're gone, and creating a desire in the mind of the victim to bring about a quick decision.
I put in my order for 4 bonds at £2,500 each, so that I could get a healthy return. I wasn't looking for a huge one. They tend to be fraudulent ones, and I thought I was not silly. So I was given instructions on how to buy. They gave me an order number and I would receive an email confirming the order with instructions to pay. My bank was really good at keeping me informed. occasionally sending me emails or text messages saying the bonds were performing well and that the 7.5% was still looking good.
Again, what the victim didn't know was that this was a seasoned team of organized criminals who knew that keeping in touch with the victim over the coming months would keep her from second-guessing her decision, which we all know we would do if, after making an investment, there was no more contact from the bank. So, regular contact, seemingly from the bank, would stop doubt from creeping in and the launch of any potential investigation. This gave the fraudster time to disappear without a trace.
It was only 12 months after that I hadn't heard back from my bank that I started to dig out my paperwork and try to contact my bank. So I wanted to find out when the bonds would pay out. The emails bounced, text messages were do not reply messages and went nowhere. The telephone numbers didn't work either. Now I was getting worried. I contacted my bank customer service number and explained what I was looking for. And after some discussion, I was transferred to my bank's fraud team. I was shocked. It turns out that my bank had never offered these fixed rate bonds with a 7.5% of return. Following further discussions and when I provided them with all the paperwork and the email that I had, they confirmed to me that I was a victim of a scam. I had lost £10,000.
The bank whose logo was used on the fake website was not the bank at which the victim held her current accounts, nor was it the bank to which she transferred her money. But because it was their logo that was being used, the real bank's fraud team investigated and discovered a highly sophisticated organized criminal network skilled at creating fake websites. They had a strong telephone script and an almost foolproof methodology to convince even the most cautious of victims that they were genuine. The investigation traced the activities of this gang to early 2020, when the first victims expressed an interest in buying the bonds. The number of victims back then was just 5. But quickly, over the months, the number of victims grew to more than 80, and the combined losses amounted to more than £1 million among them. That's an average loss per victim of around £12,500.
In this particular scam, all of the money of all of the victims went to accounts that are housed outside of the big 4 or 5 that we all know and love here in the UK. And one of the reasons we think that happened is because it's likely that their onboarding processes and their anti-money laundering processes are less mature. And as such, they seem to be more attractive to the criminals to open accounts in those organisations.
Could this situation have been prevented? And if so, how? And with whom does the responsibility lie?
This scam could have been prevented, potentially, if the bank receiving the funds were doing a better job across the board. In account opening, in their review from a money laundering perspective, using the tools they already have that they use very, very well to monitor outgoing funds. They should use those same tools to monitor incoming funds. And over time, they will start to have those tools, fine-tune the rules, fine-tune the strategies, and they will spot those accounts that look strange, that look like they are mule accounts, look like they are accounts that receive fraudulent funds and then move those funds on somewhere else.
Fraud will never be truly eliminated, but there are steps that can be taken to reduce it, and the next generation technology and processes required to do so are already in place today. Machine learning, biometrics, and authentication are changing the way banks can successfully beat scammers. Enhancing monitoring of account activity, both at the point of opening and during their operation, is helping to spot questionable transactions and create a more hostile environment for scammers. Through better use of transaction monitoring technology, KYC and AML at the receiving bank, as well as support from the initiating bank and more collaboration through network intelligence, the financial industry has the collective capability to face fraud head on.